Let's start out with a question. Do you remember the Descent game series by Parallax Software? It was a first-person, zero-gravity, 6 degrees of freedom, fast-paced space shooter for the MS-DOS. I played Descent a lot as a kid, but as a little me, unexperienced with games back then and especially trying to play this only using the keyboard, I'll admit I was a bit of a cheater. But I still enjoyed the game, but that's a topic for another time. Why am I telling you all this? Well, because Sublevel Zero is a love letter and a homage to these games. Like Descent, it's a 6 degrees of freedom space shooting thing, but this time it has the quirks of modern indie games. Procedural generated levels, roguelike elements, crafting, a little bit of RPG, and of course, permadeath. Its story is very simplistic. The universe is collapsing and weird anomalies appear, destroying everything. You, as a part of one of the surviving clans, find an asteroid with a space base full of ancient technology which might tell what's happening to the world, and maybe save it. Unfortunately for you, an anomaly separates you from everyone else and now you're inside the base, on your own. So grab your preferred method of control and start the game. You can play using the keyboard and mouse using a 360 controller, or just do what I did and plug in a flight stick. It took me a while to get a good control setup, but after trying a few things I was set and ready for takeoff. I'm also pretty new to using one, but damn. So far it's my preferred method of input, cause it's so much fun and it works pretty well. Keyboard and mouse also work very well, so don't worry if you don't own a flight stick. Before you start the game you can select a starting ship, that is if you unlock any of them, as they have specific requirements. And here's my complaint about this, the screen shows you the requirements but not the progress, so I have no idea how long until I unlock a new one. Moving on, you're placed inside the cockpit of your ship and your adventure begins. And I've gotta say, the aesthetics of this game are pretty damn great. All environment textures are pixel art which combined with the neon lights and bloom everywhere look really damn good. The unfiltered pixel art texture fits very well, reminiscing of the first 3D games and, well, Descent itself. And just like it, the design of the enemies in this game is pretty similar, big, blocky and with sharp edges, almost like built out of basic 3D shapes, and I love it. It's simplistic yet oddly charming. And where there are enemies, there is combat. You start out with 2 weapons, one energy based, one bullet based and some missiles. There are also plasma weapons and dart missiles. Weapons are divided by ammo types and then into the type of fire, miniguns, railguns, flamethrowers, machine guns, pulse rifles and so on and so forth. Here is where the roguelike elements kick in. You can obtain loot by killing enemies or opening chests in the levels. You gain nanites, the currency in this game, ammo, health, packs, but also different weapons and hulls, which you can also combine together to create even more powerful guns to take down enemies. And if you find enough nanites and perform well during a level, you'll be rewarded with nano cards in between levels, which are passive upgrades to further customize your run. Playing through the game multiple times unlocks new crafting and possible nano cards too, so basically the game offers a wide array of customization. This makes combat pretty satisfying as you tune it to your tastes as you go. What I don't like about the combat though is tied to the level design. Since those are randomly generated out of predefined rooms, I often find myself fighting an enemy in a small corridor where the only way was backwards, unless I wanted to eat the enemy's bullets. It can get claustrophobic at times, but don't worry, there's plenty of spacious rooms too. And if you ever get lost in this 3D maze, the automap will help you. Yup, they even made an automap like in Descent, only this one isn't just a wireframe. Your goal is to get to the energy reactor of each level and destroy it just like in Descent. Although you're not gonna get a race towards the mine exit with the self-destruct sequence counting down. Instead, you're gonna jump into a teleport. It's kind of a bummer they didn't put it in game, but I guess it would make sense. You're trying to get as deep as you can, not blow up and destroy the base. Great graphics and good combat are also accompanied by a fantastic soundtrack by Will Bedford. It really fits the game very well, but with all honesty, I can't really tell you what this genre is, as it is a mixture of retro chiptunes with modern electronic, sort of like the game itself is a mixture of retro descent with modern graphics and mechanics. Datapads that look like oversized Game Boys can be found throughout the sub-levels, shedding some light on the story of the game, but so far I haven't figured out what the heck is going on. And one last thing about the game, it's pretty damn hard. It does take a while to get used to the controls and you'll have to learn enemy behavior, and with death being pretty much permanent, you're bound to restart the whole game a lot. But with the random levels, enemy placements, loot, crafting and other factors, I never found two runs to feel the same. Each one is a pretty unique experience. That being said, there are things that bump up the difficulty and I'm not sure there's such a great thing. One thing is, you'll have to learn to conserve ammo, as none of them replenish over time and ammo drops are randomized. You might end up with loads of ammo of the type you currently don't need. I understand that bullets wouldn't recharge, duh, but I'd love to see energy weapons recharge at least a little bit, or even slowly over time. Descent itself solved the issue by having special recharge zones, but only for the energy weapons. With ammo conservation being a thing, destroying the level's reactor might also end up being an issue, where you just burn a ton of ammo. 1 or 2 times I caught myself blasting away at the cord just to hear that familiar click of an empty clip. The second thing that annoys me are nanites, or the fact that they quickly disappear, sometimes even before you manage to clear the room to collect them safely. This causes you to rush towards them, sometimes into a danger zone just to grab them. Sometimes you can't even risk getting close, having to snipe enemies from a distance. And the less allies you have, the less passives you get, and you can't craft good stuff, leaving you with weaker weapons and again, raising difficulty. Ammo also disappears, but after a longer period of time, but not items, which overall makes the system pretty confusing. So, is Sublevel Zero a worthy homage to Descent? I pretty much say yes. It has fantastic aesthetics, great overall moods, satisfying but pretty hard combat, and tons of replayability. I'd love the game to have more difficulty customization though for less experienced players. It's very hard, but I wouldn't use the term unfair. It's challenging. And if you have a flight stick and are looking for a new space shooter, this might be just for you. And if you enjoyed this short review of mine, why not subscribe, as I occasionally do more? Or leave a like if you really enjoyed it. I also do let's plays, first impressions and retro reviews, so there's pretty much everything for everybody. Oh, and you can also bug me on Twitter and Facebook if you'd like. See you next time.